Alright, first internet video here. I've done several things with my older, this is a 2009 Honda Odyssey. Did several things with my older 2003 Odyssey. Spark plugs, valve cover gaskets, timing belt, O2 sensors, engine mounts, all kinds of things. This is the first time really doing anything on the 2009. And as I got into it, I realized getting these oxygen sensors out is incredibly difficult, and I thought I'd do a video and see how it goes. What happened was back here, this is 3 back here. Cylinder number 3 got a misfire. I pulled out the spark plugs. Wish I had the spark plugs to show you. It's a great spark plug. Was getting too rich of a fuel mixture back there in the back. All along that whole back bank had misfires and fuel mixtures problems. Spark plugs were all corroded up. They've all been replaced. I already did that one. That's pretty easy. Spark plugs, if you want to do them, right in here. These guys right there. Just lift those up. The ignition coil comes off your spark plug's down inside of there. Very easy, very straightforward. Along the back's a little harder. You need the right kind of tools to get a hold of them. An angle will work, but they're along the back. No worries. Well, the problem is, the reason it's going to rich fuel mixture was having trouble with the O2 sensors back there. I've got a computer hooked up to the car, ran around for a while, watched the readings off the O2 sensors. The back O2 sensor banks are giving just terrible readings all over the place, up, down, everywhere. So, I'm going to the car and I'll show you what I've done. This is the end of the O2 sensor that came off right here. Okay, you can see it looks like this right here. It's got a piece on this side that snaps into the bracket that actually holds it on. If I get it right, you can actually see through it. There you go, you can see through it. It's got a little snap on this side right there. That's what secures it to the connector inside the car. The trick is getting both hands into this thing at the same time to press this release and pull this off. Very tricky. What I decided I had to do, this is the old one, so I just broke when I pulled the connectors. The first connector came off pretty easy. Squeeze it. It's got little catches on both sides. Kind of hard to see right there. Little catches on both sides. Squeeze those. Comes off. Here's my new sensor right here. And you can see this little bad boy right here matches up pretty good. And then it's got these little connectors that pop in there. And then it's got this same, be careful dropping it like that. That's not a good idea with your O2 sensor. It's got this connection. Let me show you what we got here up underneath the car. Got some lights. Oh, you gonna do your cars, guys? We got it up on, I jacked it up, put it on the roll-up kind of things there, the supports actually facing backwards. That prevents the car from rolling out the back. Just a little extra preventive thing I always do. And then I got an extra set of jacks here. These guys, they aren't even touching. They're like a 1/4 inch below. Anything gives away, those things pick it up and you got time to get out. So I've always got redundant jacks and jack stands and stuff underneath here. I like my life. I really don't want to give it up to a car falling on my head. Let's see if I can get you the right view. My light just went off here. Let's get this puppy up in here and I will see if I can show you what we were looking at here. Okay, so up and underneath here, I'm just going to zoom in on it and I will show you where we are. That is the end of our O2 sensor where I just took it off. Okay, and you can back out and see how far up in there it is. You got a frame support right here. You got your exhaust right here. Don't try this thing hot. You'll burn the crap out of yourself. The trick is to put one hand on this side of the frame support right here. Put another hand on this side of the frame support. Okay, it's gonna be hard to do this and show you exactly how, but once you get one hand all the way up through here and up onto that support or up onto that sensor connection, then you can go through here with your other hand. You actually pinch it between your two hands and pull with your, I used my left hand to pull, pinch the back. Use my right hand to pull and pinch the front, and off it came. I popped off the connections, you can see. Let's see here, right up in here is your connection right there. That's one of them. Oops, oh, there we go. It's one of them right there. And I just popped those off first, and that way I could get a hold of the sensor and pull it down. So now I'm going to take my other sensor. Another trick to these sensors, they have to spin to go in. Makes sense, right? Here is the hole. See if I can get the light onto this one. Get the light back there so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And see if this thing will zoom in on this puppy here for us. You're right here is where your sensor goes. Okay, right there. Got a hole, just make sure nothing gets down inside of there. And with the sensor, they send an anti-seize compound. You can use that. I usually use what comes with it. If you get an anti-seize compound over the counter that you're going to use, be careful. It's not the same compound that you're going to use with your other anti-seize things on it. It's got to be a sensitive or sensor proof, you know, so it doesn't damage sensors. It's a little bit different anti-seize compound than what you're going to use on your things like your spark plugs. Alrighty, but I'm going to get that puppy put in first. You want to put your sensor in first because you got to turn the wires to get it in there. Alrighty. Now what you're going to want is right over here, and I've got two of them I've used before here. Let me back out here and see what we got two different ones that I've used before. This guy right here, okay, where you can hook up. Some of them, that's the easiest way to do it. There's a little over here. Sorry for bouncing the camera around, it's going to make you guys sick. Girls too. That's the other one's like a crow's foot. That thing's really handy dandy for some of the tight spots for getting these O2 sensors in and out. I usually hand tighten them in, and then once I get them down, we will tighten them. If I can get my my torque wrench into there, I'll tighten them with a torque wrench. All right. And actually, I'm going to have to go double check the torque on the tightening on these things. I forgot what it was on my 2003, but I'll be right back. All right, so what we're going to do here, here's our oxygen sensor. All right, I guess we can get out here and do it. Did a little research, found that our torque should be about 44 Newton meters. A little frustrating to lose your shop manual, which is exactly what happened. And I had to go look it up online, but I was able to find it. Some great online places to find it. This is the anti-seize that came with it. Okay. And what you want to do is take your anti-seize and put this right here. Alrighty. And get this onto your threads of your new oxygen sensor. Alright. As I mentioned earlier, be sure you use a anti-seize compound that is oxygen sensor safe. And all you do is just put it right a little bit along the edge right there on those threads. Okay. Try to avoid getting it on the sensor, like some of that just came off and onto the edge of the sensor, and that's a little too much. Let's shave some of that off. There we go. And you can, even if you get it like right down that edge, just do that. Take it right off. That's the whole reason for using this particular, focus here, using this particular anti-seize. And you can get it into the threads like that. Because if you do get this onto the sensor itself, it's not going to damage it. Other ones will damage it, so be very careful. Another thing, if we can get this, I'm just about to focus on this bad boy here. Let's see. There is a compressing ring. See this? That's why it's important to actually get the torque right. I mean, if you look it up online, some people will say just torque it a half a turn, depending on the size. I think M12 versus M18. These are 33 pound-feet or 44 Newton meters. But if you torque it too far, you will compress that little ring too much, or not enough. All right. So I'm a big fan of doing the torquing, getting it torqued right, getting the things on there right. Big fan of gloves too, by the way. I go through tons of these things, several pair a year that I go through. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. This is the rest of my garage. It's a mess. There's some tractor parts over there that I'm working on painting. That's your John Deere That's the John Deere beige colored primer. Alrighty, so we're headed right up here. Let's see if we can get this straight again. Alright, and you can see where the sensor goes in. You notice I'm putting the sensor in first. Very careful not to knock it on the sides or bump it. Don't hook your wires up first. You'll have a heck of a time getting your sensor to tighten up. Okay. And just start hand tightening that little puppy down. And you can see, of course, doing this with one hand and the camera is a little harder. I usually grab it with one hand. I'm going to have to do that. Let me see. I don't know if it doesn't work, but it might work. You can get a hold of it right here so that you can turn it on this side and then hold it with this hand. Okay, hand tighten again. Hold it, because the cords here are going to want to make it unwind. Got this cord popping against my head over here. And I hope that'll work out so you guys could see that happen. But see how every time you let go of it, it just wants to unwind? And that's the cord here. So you want to be able to, you want to hand tighten it down. You got it hand tightened down, now I want to torque it down, and then we'll hook up the wires. Alright. Alrighty, there's my hookup for getting it torqued. Here's the crow's foot on this one, a little easier to get to it. Okay, extension to get me by the pipe right here. And then we're just going to come right around with this bad boy. We're tight down here. Okay, he goes up, and I'll get him secured onto there in a proper way. Let me see here. There you go, you can see it coming in. I get it on there in a proper way here with both hands, and we'll tighten him down. Just to see what I did, there's a torque wrench in there, little extension. Okay, if you have not used a torque wrench before, always get it by the end. Okay, don't grab it up the handle, you'll mess up the torque. And you go until you hear until we hear a little bit of a pop here, which we should in just a second. There you go. That pop, that's it, you're done. Okay, you keep pulling, you can tear it up. Now it's in. This will just come right off, I hope, and out of the hole. If not, I can pull and disconnect like that. And then get the crow's foot off of it. Come here. See what we can do here. This might give me a camera stand if I keep this up, because this is hard with one hand. Alright. Okay, now it's off. Now, I'm going to try to head up this way, and once I rearrange some lights here, you'll be able to see where we're headed. I'll move them up, and now you can see we're headed right up through there. Remember what I said about that? Your connection is way on up there. Okay, so we're going to reach up through there, grab our connection. You can just barely see it. If I could point to it, I would. I can almost shadow it, but you can see it there in the middle of the frame. Get the light on a little bit better. See if we can get you some light. There you go. Sitting right there. Whoops. Sitting right there. Alright, yeah. We're going to get him hooked up, and then we will plug our wires in, and that's one down. Alright, back in a minute. Okay, let's see if I can get a shot of this here. Show you what I did. So there he is. The reason I can't really shoot it while I'm doing it, first of all, I use two hands. This hand is up underneath the support right here. See if I can come back and get that. Ooh, that's hard with one hand. I need to go take a video class. So I got one hand that goes in front of there. The other thing that comes behind the support. That's the whole reason I decided to video this thing. When I saw where this thing was, it took me a while to figure out how to get this out, what the best approach was. And I'm thinking that this could save some of you guys tons of time. Because once you figure out that, you know what, you don't need those previous supports, just pop those puppies off, break them. I mean, who cares? You don't need it. And get all that wire. Get this hand back behind, okay, on this support right here. Man, I wish I'd stay in focus. On this support right here. Bring your other hand over the top. Here we go. You push on the top of that right there. that lifts it up and over that little bitty hump that we saw, you know, a little bitty hookup. I got lots of good technical words today. We got humps and we got shenanigans and we got all kinds of stuff. But anyway, and then once you got her back together, there is going to be a connection. Come, give me some focus here. Alrighty, that's about the best we're going to do, boys and girls. Sorry for the girls out there who might be watching. Yeah, there's always some girls working on cars. Love those girls. Here we go. Well, my wife, too. She's going to see this. I'm going to be in trouble for that one. Alrighty, but right here. Okay. And so that back end goes right back on top of there. That's what I'm about to do. Now, got to do this two hands because you want to line this thing up, push up with this. Really hard. Oh, maybe I can get it with one hand and show you guys. I don't know, it's hard as heck, but it's got to go. Let's just see. 1, 2. Ooh, how about that? So that's a one-hander. Slip that up on there. Then you got your connections here. See these little guys? Going to go into there. There's another one on down. There's 3 of them. We're going to pop those puppies in. All right, you. And then we are golden. Then we'll be looking for how to figure out how to do the next one. Okay, back in a minute. Alrighty, here we are back again. Just thought of something else too. This is my first internet repair video. Hopefully of many. But if I get some good input on exactly what to do and not to do and what helps you guys and girls, I might do quite a few more because I do a lot of repair work on these things, take these things apart. A lot of different work that I've done. I know I've used some of y'all's videos out there that are very helpful. But the way I got these off, let's see if I can find our position here. Yeah, here we are. If y'all can see it, right up into there. I was using this screwdriver, okay? See this bad boy? It's really long and it'll get right up underneath there. You can get right to where you need to be. I know it's a little bit dark back in there. Let's see, there's this little puppy would focus for us. That's it. You can get right up underneath it and pop it right off, okay? But you gotta have yourself a big screwdriver. Size doesn't matter. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's see if he'll show us this. So I'm hooked up. Let's see. Up in here. Man, it's hard to see, isn't it? There's your wire coming in right there. Okay, got it plugged in there. One thing with this sensor wire too, it was off just a little bit. Right here you can see, I had to actually pull it through. It was the connectors just about 2 centimeters short right there. So I had to pull that one through a little bit. Might go back and cover that with some liquid tape. I don't know. It's snapped down, you can't loosen it up. But it was actually short to the other connector that is right up there. But everybody's in good shape all together. You got a new sensor going, and then we're going to come around and do the other sensor. This is the comes after the converter here on this back bank, okay? And we've got one more to do. Alrighty, see you in a bit. Alright, so here we are back up top. Okay, and let me show you where we're going with this one. You really can't reach this one from underneath. It's actually easier to reach from up. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, buddy, that's a little bit of work. But here she is, right there. She's off, okay? I'll show you a few tricks on how to get it. It really, it took a while, but if you get it just right, it's first better to pop it off of the metal holder, and that part goes right through here like it did on the other one. That gets pushed in, okay? So you get one finger, I use my middle finger, up underneath it, and just pull that in gently. You'll feel it slide in. With your other hand, I put my other hand right through here, and with my other hand, I just pushed. And you can slide it down and off of the little holder, the bracket that holds this on, okay? Once you're off the bracket, here we have again this little notch right there. That way you can see it back there, but the piece that's over the notch, you push at the top, And once you got both hands around there, you just push at the top, you'll feel it click, pull, you're off, okay? That took me a good 10 minutes to get that. So if you just do that, you will save yourself a ton of precious time. And you want that off first, okay, before you try to take the sensor off. See, we're still hooked up back there. Because this allows this wire to spin while you're taking the sensor off. It's so much easier. On my BMW, I did the sensors, and the first one I tried to take the sensor off before the wire without thinking about it. What a pain in the fanny. But let me get hooked up here, and we'll get that sensor out. So we took the Upstream O2 sensor off from the top. All right. I was not able, one thing I didn't show you earlier, I was not able, because of the size of my hands, to get into the back and take off the downstream sensor from the top. If you have small hands, you might be able to get into there around the back here and remove that O2 sensor connection from the top that goes to the downstream O2 sensor. You still got to jack the car up, get up underneath there to unhook the connections. It's got those 3 connections that we talked about earlier, but you might be able to get through here a little easier if you got small hands. You can actually get a hold of that back there because it's sitting right next to the other one that we just did. Just a point I wanted to make, as I started off, I was not able to get to it through here. I didn't show that initially. Small hands, you probably can. If not, use the 2-hand technique from underneath to get a hold of your connection for your downstream O2 sensor. Alrighty, I can show you the setup that I'm using to get this off of here. It's always good to have the right tools. I get tons of different socket sets, wrench sets. These little guys right here, handy dandy. Alrighty. There's another thing called a wobble. Alright, it just gives you a little bit of wobble on the end. Got several of those over there on the counter. Sometimes you use those. I went with my longer. It gives me a little more extension here. Plus, it's not real tight once you get down on top of it. And you can see it's made for the wire to fit through the side of this thing. This thing's cut specifically for an O2 sensor. You can also use just a socket, and I think it's a 7/8. Yep, there you go. 7/8 socket. So you can just get out a 7/8 socket and get a hold of it if you want to. You could even, if you know it's an old one, you're throwing it away, you could cut the wires off the top of it, slide a deep 7/8 socket over the top of it, and off it comes. But anyway, we get it back here. I'm going to get this bad boy right back here. Okay, let me just see here. I know it's making you guys dizzy again with shaking, but I'm trying to get this thing straight. Still don't know how Survivor Man does it. Boy, it's just out of control. Alrighty, so we'll drop this back here. Alright, down and right around. So once again, with one hand, this is really a pain in the fanny, to tell you guys the truth. We're on, okay. I'm sitting up, I got plenty of room back there, and we got a hold of that. And out is going to come our other O2 sensor. Alrighty. Okay, so, oh, another little tidbit here. I left my battery hooked up this time. You can see it right there. Lots of manuals will recommend you're doing this. Unhook your battery so you don't cause any surges in your CPU and that sort of thing in your electronic unit. And that's probably not a bad idea, but the likelihood, these are passive. The likelihood that you are going to damage anything is pretty low, but I'm going to be extra careful. You can get all this little puppy back here and he'll come on off. Also, you're going to have the tool to reset if you leave your battery hooked up. You have to have the tool to reset your warnings, because you're probably going to get an engine warning light with your battery on and taking these off, put them back on. You just might. You might get one anyway when you start up, because it's going to find a new sensor. And there's your old sensor. Doesn't really look none the worse for wear, but for some reason he is not doing his job. Like I mentioned initially, these 2 sensors are on the back bank back here. They had ruined my 3, they're down inside of there, my 3 spark plugs on this side. I replaced all 6, but especially 3 was just shot, and then the whole back bank was really in bad shape. Now, I was going to tell you about getting this off, what we were saying a few minutes ago. Here's this little notch right here, okay? Here is the open area that hooks into the bracket for the car. That's on the back of the engine. All right, it slides right in there. So the first thing to do, and it'll make it really quick for you if you do this, it's sitting like this, it's facing like this. Get your thumb or something. I used my middle finger up underneath, pull that bracket in, wrap my right hand around the side right through here, okay? And then just pushed on the top. And that doesn't disconnect it, that gets it off the engine. And then once you're off the engine, you come over here, you push down right there, it'll slide right off, or if you have to get to it this way or with your other hand, I'm reaching my other hand around, I push down here, pull, out it comes. The other thing is, I didn't mention before, and I usually put on there, with the back one, it's too much trouble. This time I'm going to put it on dielectric grease. I put it into there. That keeps any kind of moisture. It's just extra insurance against moisture getting into your connections. All right, you. Excellent. We're almost there. Let me get the new one ready to go, and we'll put it on. Okay. So just to show you right here, this one I did a little better job. It's a little cleaner. Got the anti-seize compound onto there. I'm going to get this one with two hands to show you because I've got. This is your dielectric grease up in here. You see it up in there? There you go. Excellent. Got a whole bottle of this stuff because I use this stuff like it's going out of style. Alrighty. And all you do, get it going here. And eventually, if it comes out, there we go. Let's get that stuff right down. Okay. Now don't try this at home, folks, with any kind of other regular stuff. Make sure you've got the dielectric grease if you're going to help insulate and protect your connections. Really good for your batteries too. You change your batteries out, smear this stuff all over your battery. Somebody stole your battery. That's old school right there. For you people who remember that one. A little Eddie Murphy throwback there. Alright, so we get that into there. And once you put it in, that stuff will squish down, another very technical term. Okay, kind of seals it and keeps moisture and everything out of your connections. Helps them last longer, makes them better. Like I said, don't do this with anything except, where'd it go? Dielectric grease. Okay, you're going to make yourself a mess and then you're going to cause an electrical fire and you're going to blow up or something. So just don't do it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Alright, so it's in there. You can see the wire coming up there for our connector. That's just hand tightened. I think I can get back in there and I feel like I'm on my 250 here, climbing all the way up on top of this silly thing. If you're working on a 250, there's just no hope. You just got to sit on top of the engine to get at it. Do everything. Alrighty. Okay. So we get this little puppy back in here. Down and onto there. Alrighty, good. Now I'm going to try to hook up my torque wrench right here. There we go. To the end. And the torque I couldn't show you up underneath, but we should be 44 Newton meters. I made a point earlier to make sure when you're using a torque wrench I used before, grab only the handle, okay? That's where you tighten it from, all the way from the end. When you get that pop, you're golden. All right, here we go. Okay, alrighty, we're jacked up, we're all together. All right, back in there. Trust me, it's hooked in there. Leaves, can't believe those things are on there. Anyway, and I got the cover. There's a cover over that, of course, which is gone somewhere. There he is. It's right there. My nice tidy garage. As you can see, it's just a mess in here. So we have our, who is this one? Inovia. There he is. Sorta. Wow, there's some bright sun. There you go. Got our Inovia. 3160. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and start the car up on the jacks. Wouldn't usually do that. You got to be careful doing that. But nobody's underneath it. And if one of my oxygen sensors is messed up, I want to know about it. Okay. If I hooked one up wrong or sideways or cattywampus, it's a great word there for y'all. Cattywampus. Excellent word. Go look it up. And I'll show you guys how this works. Okay. If you've never used one, all cars are very similar. Okay. Except really old cars. You go back to some of the original stuff. There's a hookup that's right down here. I'm talking like 80s old school. Okay. And it's very hard to work with on those really, really old ones. But this is your connection to the car here. Okay, see this? On this model, this is a 2009 Honda Odyssey. It is gonna be right up and underneath here. If I can find it, I just had it hooked up yesterday. Here we go. So you see it right there, sitting right up underneath, easily accessible. And this little puppy just plugs right in, no worries. Okay, no worries. Now, the nice thing with this Inovia, it's very portable, okay? Does a pretty good job picking up most of the numbers, plus it has a live streaming. That's how I figured out it was the O2 sensors, okay? Figured it was the O2 sensors because of the live streaming data. It didn't really give an O2 sensor signal problem. I could just tell, let's see here, from the O2 sensor output that we were having some problems. It did give me a misfire, and that's how I found the bad spark plugs. Although my wife noticed it kind of running rough about a week before it all happened. So, you go with the ignition, okay, on, just up like that, alright ya. And you can see this really wasn't supposed to happen. 48,000 miles and you're losing O2 sensors, not really the best plan. So it's telling me no powertrain problems. Okay. I'm going to have it do a clear just to be sure it clears that O2 sensor. Alrighty. And it still says I got an emission problem because it's going to take a while for the car to reset. Okay. And it's going to hook up. I'm going to go over to the live data. Channel PMs. Let me check out my, there's your O2 sensors. And they're now both running very similar. Before, those two numbers, see the O2 sensor B1, B2 under S2, they were given some very erratic numbers. You want to look for them running very close, very similar. Doing the same thing there. You can see the numbers changing and they're about the same. Nothing that's way out of sorts, and the front bank never was. So, and you can hear the car running. Very smooth, RPMs. Very smooth. Sounds really smooth now. So I think we fixed it. Alright, so another thing to do is come up here and get a good listen. Sounds smooth, runs smooth, feels smooth. So I think we're going to be golden. Alright. And that is installing the O2 sensors for the most part on a 2009 Honda Odyssey. Let me know what you guys think when I do more work on this on a F250 on the Ducati over there. I'll start posting some more, see if I can help some other people out. Alrighty.